Well, good morning, YouTube. It's Josh and Dan.
What's up?
And we're going to tell you all about how Normal Guy Enterprises did during 2022.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
So if you didn't know, there is actually multiple businesses that we do for Normal Guy. We have the Supercar parts sales and services, and then we have the dealership. So the dealership is actually a separate legal entity. So we're going to talk about that separately, but it is owned by Normal Guy. So it's still the same, basically the same company, same owners, everything like that. So the first thing we want to do is just talk about how did 2022 go for us. We had some serious wins, and we also had some pretty serious, I'm not going to say fails, but
Losses,
disappointments. Let's go with disappointment. Not some great stuff. So we're going to talk about the not so great stuff first, I think, because
bad news before the good.
yeah, let's do the bad news first. Everyone loves the bad news. So parts side of the business, it was on a absolute tear at the beginning of this year. So last year we did about $450,000 in parts and services sales. I don't really have like a actual profit number on that, but you could probably assume a kind of gross profit in the 10 to 15% range, maybe 20, not so likely.
I think that's being generous.
It's being generous, especially because we had a lot of aggressive coupons to try and get our name out there. Sorry about there's gonna be stuff going on in the background, by the way. So this year, we had a reasonable first quarter. Generally speaking, we were doing about $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000 more per month than the previous year, and it was on a track to increase. So the first few months of the year, all the way until May, we actually increased how much we sold, and then June came and it slowed down, and then July came and it just, everything kind of went to shit. July, August, September, October, all terrible months. We actually had some negative months in there because of returns and cancellations and all that stuff. The logistics side of the business caught up to us where certain parts people ordered like 6+ months ago just couldn't get delivered or couldn't get produced or whatever. So we had to do refunds on those sorts of things. It was brutal. It was like every week we'd get another, hey, I want to cancel my order. And so in light of that, we now no longer offer cancellations on exhausts. Period.
They're all handmade,
Yep.
and they're all built to order. So when you order something, there's a reason there's a big delay because it's got to be made. And you're also putting a line behind everybody else that's ordered one. So once it's ordered and they start building it, we've paid for it already. There's no way to.
Yeah, the problem with that is we have to send them the money up front. So you're paying us for the exhaust. We're paying for the exhaust immediately. And we're also paying bank charges, whatever, all sorts of stuff, right? So we're in the hole if you ask for a refund, which is, we used to do refunds with you got to give us a fee, but then everyone got so mad about the fee, we're like, you know what? No refunds, period. So if you order an exhaust, no refunds, no cancellations. We can't do that anymore because it just doesn't make sense financially. No. It really kicked our ass. November, we did actually the biggest month we've ever had, but that was 95% because of Klein. So Klein actually came to us and said, hey, we're going to do a big sale, and they actually decreased our cost so that we could do a big sale. So we gave the biggest discount we've ever done in conjunction with Klein, and people took advantage of that, and good for all of you that did.
Yeah,
it was cool because we got to see people really get hooked up on some cool exhausts. That month alone, we actually sold over $100,000 in exhausts, which was pretty cool. December still kind of went back to not being all that great. Long story short, how did the whole year do for just the parts and services, not including all of our costs or whatever? It was around $650,000. So we increased from last year by about $200,000. Profit probably is down, is my guess, because of all the cancellations and returns and everything. I think our profit will actually be higher next year, but it just wasn't doing good. It never grew like it was supposed to. Like, it doesn't have a nice curve like this. It literally,
it's kind of all over.
It goes
the
up
place.
and comes down.
I think part of that has to do with just the economy being on edge right now. it's so up and down with the stock market and everything, and people are just unsure. So maybe they want the exhaust one day, and the next day they just change their mind and I don't have the money, and then 2 months later they're like, okay, I'll go ahead and get it. So we're hoping for a smoother 2023.
So another cool thing is, I believe we actually had less orders, but more money. So people were buying bigger dollar items, which is kind of cool. Really, when you guys want a deal from us or something like that, just send us an email and tell us what you want, and we can work with you. It's the best way to get the best price possible, because then we can actually look at our actual costs, get your address, figure out the actual shipping costs. Because right now, all the shipping costs in the system are just kind of like generic guesstimates, because we just don't know. It varies too much. Sometimes the same part could be shipping to one side of the country and it's $200, another time it's $300, and we just don't know. Yeah. All that being said, the parts side, kind of disappointing. I was projecting at the beginning of the year that we were going to do 800,000 in sales, and we only did 650, so I'm kind of bummed about that. We're a good 150,000 off from my projections. I think that's basically the summer ate away that $150,000. If we had not had the slow summer, it would have been right about $800,000. I'm gonna let you talk about the car.
I'll talk about the car stuff, and then Dan can go over the YouTube stuff, I suppose.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that too.
Yeah, we opened the car business in March. We've been in business for 10 months. We have sold a total of 22 cars. Gross profit, not profit, but income, sales is about 2.6 million. So, we did pretty good. 12 of those were out of state, 6 of them were in state, and 4 of them were wholesale deals to other dealers. So yeah, it's pretty good. We had this month we haven't sold anything. It's been super slow.
That's so painful.
It's been terrible. July we sold 1 car in July, and it was nothing special. It was the Boxster. The summers tend to be slower, and so do the holidays in the car business. So we can be better prepared next year. Try not to hold any expensive inventory going into summer and going into the holidays. It's not bad. I'm actually pretty impressed we did that in 10 months.
So the other thing you got to consider is we still have about $1 million in inventory right now.
Yeah, which
is nuts.
Honestly, we're sweating a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. The good news is about half of that inventory is my money, which is good and bad. So it means basically we're not paying interest on those cars, and in a worst case scenario, if we lose, is we're just losing my money. The downside is that the other cars are on the floor plan, so we are paying interest on them. So obviously we're interested in getting rid of those cars sooner rather than later. I think we kind of had some unfortunate timing where we acquired, I think it was 4 cars in 1 week or 2 weeks, and it was literally right as the spigot got shut off. Like the moment the market kind of finally said, okay, and it was actually kind of interesting because the market finally said they didn't want to buy McLarens, but the market for Ferraris is still roaring.
Well, like everybody's been saying, the McLarens were kind of the
tech bros.
The tech bros, the crypto bros, the stock trader bros, whoever. They came into a bunch of money and they're like, oh, I'm going to go buy a McLaren. Well, they bought a McLaren and now it's worth 30-40% less than they paid for it a year ago, and they're freaking out, and it's causing the prices to go down.
Which is kind of crazy because historically, you bought a car because you wanted the car, and it was going to depreciate.
Well, everybody has this mindset that, the cars are going to go up in value. Well, that's never happened in history, ever. Yeah. Except for these last 2 years, and so people are just like, I don't know. They're just not realistic.
The single biggest conversation we have on every single sale and every single consultation is, what do you think the value of the car is going to be in the future? Am I going to lose money on it, or how much depreciation? And it's frustrating because it's like, I understand, like I've owned these cars, but I never bought it thinking, if I lose a little bit of money on the car, it's such a disappointment. I always thought, I'm going to lose, that was my mindset, I'm going to lose money on this car, but is an acceptable loss? And I think that's what you got to do. You got to do the math and say, I'm going to lose money in this car. Don't expect to gain money in the car. These aren't meant to be investments. It's meant to be a car.
The other thing too is there are investment grade cars like an F40, an F50, a Speciale 458, whatever. Yeah. But even those got to a point to where now they're down a little bit from where they were. Now, long term, 10 years from now, those cars are going to be worth way more than they're worth now. And a basic 430 is probably, well, maybe a 430 will hold its value, but some of the McLarens won't. They'll be cheaper as they age. If you're buying a car to try to make money on it or something, just
you have to have the crazy shit.
Yeah, it has to be a specialty car, and even then, you still have to pay for maintenance, insurance, everything else, and hope that it goes up, and then you have to find a buyer when you sell it. It can be done, though. It can be done.
Yeah. So I guess the last financial part of the equation is the YouTube side of things. We've gotten our butts kicked on YouTube. I'll just be honest, it's been rough. We've been on a probably 2-year slump now. The first, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 years of doing it, the growth was pretty good and it was consistent, and then it just kind of plateaued right around like the 70,000 subscriber mark. And so from 70 to 80 has taken a very, very long time, and we've kind of been slow. I think it's a combination of we haven't been doing crazy drama stuff, and we never have. But I think a lot of it was the type of content we produce got normalized, and ours became not as exciting because you had so many people doing crazy salvage cars and cars that caught on fire and all this just outlandish shit. Or we put a giant motor in an electric car, that's sort of like just crazy shit, right? And it had nothing to do with the actual car interest. It just became who can do the crazy shit that gets attention. We've kind of always held true to our goals of we want to provide educational information, provide you the realities, present it like it is for real, and not sugarcoat it, not over-embellish things. So because of that, I just think ours kind of lost some interest or whatever. We're trying to get it back going again. That's why we're doing these vlogs. A lot of you have commented that you like the vlogs. So we'll keep doing those for a while.
We have some other cool ideas that we're going to do some new stuff.
Yep, we definitely have some ideas of things we want to do in the next, you'll see next few weeks, months, whatever.
If there's anything you guys want to see, something cool, we're open to suggestions. Put them in the comments. And
and honestly, after having the Eternia, we're thinking we might buy a salvage car here and there and just fix it up and flip it, and just so long as we break even, we don't really care. That's the thing. We can do that sort of thing. So that means overall the revenue from YouTube is down pretty considerably. Oh geez, people calling. So there you have it. I guess we're cautiously optimistic about 23. I think the car side of the business is gonna really, it's going to be good. I feel like it's going to be better because we've learned some lessons. We kind of are learning what the market wants and what it doesn't. And so we're focusing, I'll be straight up honest, we're probably going to focus hard on Ferrari. Just found that they're much easier to sell. People still want them.
We know the most about them.
And honestly, that's the other thing is we just know so much about them that it's hard not to just, it's like stick to what you know, right? Let's figure out those really well before we venture into the other markets. And I think the buyers generally are easier to do a sale with. It's kind of
much easier. Ferrari buyers are way better than
everything.
Pretty much everything else.
Yeah, so you'll see more Ferraris for sale. I guess we could give you a little hint. One of the other things we want to do is we want to do some conversions. So we actually have been talking to EAG about actually having the two of us do conversions in our garage at home to show that can be done. And so we're really excited. We're going to start doing that very soon.
They're going to start selling kits to the public, and so they're developing an instruction manual, and we're going to do some videos so that when people buy them, a DIYer can do it themselves in their garage.
Yep. Oh, that's fun.
So we just need to find a couple of cars to buy to do the conversions too.
Yep. Yeah. So
if you have something for sale, let us.
We need a 430 desperately.
Or we'd do a 362 even.
Yeah.
If it was good enough.
If it was a great 360, we'd do it. So that's it for the plan for next year. Is we think also, I think the sales side of things, the parts and services, will kind of continue to grow as the economy kind of comes back around. I think we're kind of, I personally feel like we're kind of through the worst of it. Like
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think next year is going to be a year of recovery.
Yeah.
From all this hype that we've had the last 2 years, and now we're coming down off of it. I think it's just going to settle down, and it's kind of just be chill.
Yeah. I think people will realize it wasn't the catastrophic 2008 financial crisis, that we had.
We might be totally wrong.
Yeah. But just it feels that way. Like,
Yeah.
It just like I don't feel like there's this sense of pending doom that there was. Anyway, that's just a gut feeling. So yeah, if you guys like this, like, share, and subscribe. Join us on our live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. We're trying to do guests now, so it's kind of cool. And if you have any ideas of anything you want to see, any particular cars that you want us to work on, we're open to it. I guess that's going to do it.
See you guys later.
We'll see you in the next video. It's going to be sweet.